Okay, well, hello everyone. This is Sam I Am from Dinar Douchebags, and today is the 10th anniversary of the launching of my blog, exposing the scam and the scammers promoting it. And just wanted to take advantage of this occasion to fill everybody in on what's happened over the past 10 years. The whole thing started when I was on Dinar Dater. Let me tell you how I got there. I started off as Mr. Rich on Dinar Vets. I was a mod there, and I got banned because of an incident that happened over Scooter that I'm not even going to go into because it's not really even relevant. And so there was a guy named Chuckles who had another site called Dinar Dater. And me and some other mods, we left and we went over to Dinar Dater, and about 1,000 people followed us over there. And we had a great time, started meeting all these big name gurus like Scooter, Highlander, and Enoch. And after listening to them for a while, I was convinced that they really didn't know any more than I did. And so the host of that site, Dinar Dater, was Chuckles, my good friend Chris Earl, who went by Chuckles. And Chris didn't monetize his site or anything. He just provided the site because he wanted people to have an opportunity to have open dialogue and really discuss the so-called investment without getting banned, because he'd already been banned from a couple of other sites for asking inconvenient questions. After a while, Chuckles and I decided to do our own research, and I started uncovering some things, and I shared it with him. And finally one day, after realizing that so many of the things that we'd been told were just out-and-out lies that weren't supported by the facts, I just told Chuckles one night, I think this thing really is a scam. And his response was just one word, yeah. He pretty much was coming to the same conclusion. So after a bit, I said, you know, I don't think, because I was a moderator there at Dinar Dater, and I was pretty well known. And I said, I can't let these people think that I still believe in this thing when I don't. And I said, would it be okay with you if I did a post and told everybody about my epiphany? And he said, sure, go ahead. And that's just the way he was. So I did a post, and I told everybody that I didn't believe in it anymore, and I couldn't encourage anybody to participate in this so-called investment anymore. And shortly after that, I decided to assume a new identity and start blogging against it as Sam I Am. So September 23rd, 2011, I launched Dinar Douchebags. Now, I didn't know very much at the time, but I knew nobody was going to get rich off of this thing. At the time, I still thought it was possible that a revaluation to a penny or so would happen and people could make a good profit. Eventually, I realized that countries only revalue if they absolutely have to. In Iraq's case, the only reason they revalued from 2006 to 2009 was to get inflation under control. And once they did that, they stabilized the exchange rate. They did one very small revaluation in January 2012. They went from 1170 to 1166. Simply because they had a spike in inflation when the coalition forces left. And after that, it stayed at 1170 for a few years until they devalued to 1186. I don't remember when that happened. We can discuss that later, I guess. Then it showed up as 1190, and I was told, well, 1190 is the same thing as 1186. It's just a different way of representing it. Stayed there for a few years, and then I think it was last year that all of us, the big one, the big devaluation up to 1430, I believe, to the dollar. So since January of 2009. January 2012, when it went to 1166, the dinar has only lost value. It hasn't gained value. And I've been telling people since September of 2011, you're not going to get rich off this thing. I've been telling them since 2012, when I really got educated about this thing, that you're probably not going to make any profit at all. In fact, you could very well lose everything when they redenominate and you can't find a place to exchange your dinars. So anyway, I ran the blog for about 3 years. I exposed a lot of the scammers. I got threatened with a defamation lawsuit from Dinar Inc. And so I took down some of the information there because they'd already sued one guy named Proteus that I was friends with, and I didn't want to go through that myself. Eventually, he was convicted and sent off to the Gray Bar Hotel. Let's see, we had Dinar Sterling.
That would be Dinar Corp. I got to correct you there. That's Dinar Corp.
Thanks, Nash, for butting in. Yeah, you're right. It was Dinar Corp, not Dinar Inc. It's been so long, guys. I've forgotten a lot of this stuff. There was a Sterling Currency Group. Was that the name of the group?
Yeah.
The ones out in Atlanta. They were indicted along with a guru named Terry K. They were convicted, but Terry K. unfortunately beat the rap. But there was a group called the BH Group that was pumping the dinar. They got arrested and convicted along with Rudy Conan. Rudy Conan died in prison. All of this stuff has happened over the past 10 years. And the dinar, meanwhile, has done jack squat, in the words of Chris Farley. So that takes us up now to 2014. 2014, unfortunately, my friend Chris Earl, also known as Chuckles, passed away suddenly. And I was just devastated. After that, it wasn't fun anymore. We had so much fun. Chris was just a wild and crazy guy. He made it a lot of fun doing research on these guys and exposing. I mean, he was always helping me out with all kinds of stuff. He and Marcus got into the wiki. Let's see, what was the name of that thing? Wiki, where they had the files that people divulge.
WikiLeaks?
WikiLeaks, thank you. They'd got into some WikiLeaks stuff that showed really how there were people behind the scenes who were manipulating things. It was very eye-opening. But anyway, after he passed away in 2014, I just lost interest. At that point, I'd already pretty much decided I didn't want to do this anymore because I didn't want to get sued, and I was constantly being threatened with lawsuits and everything. So at the end of 2014, I pretty much stopped blogging about the dinar. A lot of people by that point had their own epiphanies and had moved on. But what happened was a lot of new gurus came along pumping the dinar, and that's when Dinar Daily came along, and some of these characters joined in the fun and started exposing the new gurus, and so they kind of took the baton that I passed off. I wasn't even aware of the fact that they were following me, but I had seen the name Ssmith commenting on my blog, but I didn't know who Ssmith was, didn't even know it was a woman. But eventually I found out. And I'd read some stuff about Ponee. Ponee was questioning the dinar, but I didn't know who Ponee was. Eventually found out that these people were hanging out at Dinar Daily, and I joined Dinar Daily and became friends with them. And some of them are here tonight to participate. So thanks for joining me tonight, guys. We've got RamblerNash. Say hi, Nash.
Hi, Nash.
Ssmith, are you there?
I sure am. Howdy, folks.
And Ponee?
Hello, I'm so happy to be here celebrating with you guys.
And we're happy to have you. And also Nick from Global Currency Reset.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. Okay, so we're all on the mic and ready to go. Let's see, who wants to go first and talk about how you got into this thing and how we came to learn about the dinar scam and the scammers behind it and how to expose them?
Well, let me jump in with a little bit about Dinar Daily, and then the actual Guru Hunter can pick it up from there. Dinar Daily is actually the rising of the phoenix from the original Okie Oil Man site, when everything went down with Okie crashing his plane and the big exiting from that whole mess there. he had predicted it so many times, and he was landing his plane so many times that a lot of people really started to get disenchanted with the dinar. And all of a sudden, there was a big attack on the Okie Oil Man site. And at that time, I was a moderator. And when that whole site crashed and the original owner decided it was time for her to step back because she was getting a lot of threats also. Not only was it legal threats, but against her life. So it was actually becoming very dangerous for her. She truly did believe in the dinar, and she had no intentions of actually scamming people. She then began to realize also that Okie was somebody that was just basically cashing in off of everybody's belief. So she said she needed to step away and actually asked me to just take over the site. So I did. And at that point, along with the other moderators that were there, because Okie was kicked off of his own site, the moderators were asked to come together and create a new name. It was voted on. Dinar Daily is what it came out to be. And it actually went from having thousands and thousands of people to probably having 15 visitors a day, because it crashed and burned with the whole Okie thing. And I continued just to post guru stuff, and basically by myself for a while, guru stuff and articles, just for the interest of anybody who was still following. I just posted this stuff, would post it and get off and leave. Next thing I know is probably about 2 months had gone on. Some of these characters started coming in, and I had a lot to say about the actual guru posts, and they were kind of contradicting everything that I was posting, and I didn't care. I think they thought I was going to care, that I was going to put up a stink and start banning people, but I was of the thought, I don't care, because at that point, I had only been into it maybe 12 weeks of Dinar when I realized, yeah, this is a big joke. So it didn't matter to me that they actually came on and changed the entire face of Dinar Daily and actually made it their home to kind of follow in the footsteps of what you were doing originally also. And they created a whole new site that entered into Dinar land and actually, I believe, had a big impact also in changing the way the gurus were able to work, which wasn't quite as well as they did before. So, with that, if they would like to introduce themselves and pick up from there.
Thanks, Ponee. Go ahead, Nash.
Well, my involvement was pretty much I had some friends that got invested, and I decided to take a look at it, and I spent the weekend looking at it. And when I started looking at it, I ran across a site named, believe it or not, Dinar Douchebags. And I'm going, what a hell of a name for a website. But yeah, I caught a couple articles there, but what really caught my interest was Baghdad Invest. When that was on there was some guy there named Mike Diston that was talking about TNT Tony. Now, that was what I pretty much got involved with, was just TNT Tony. Not any of the other gurus. I've heard of Okie Oil Man and a couple others, but really didn't pay that much attention. But with TNT Tony, I'm just hearing lie after lie after lie, and I'm going, how can my friends believe this? So I, just pretty much just followed along and tried to get as much information as I could until I decided, you know what, I'm going to do something about this, because this is just an outright scam. And I can't just sit there and stand by and just see people getting scammed, especially my friends. And I'd come to find out that a few other people also got involved with it, and I knew they were getting scammed, but you can't talk to them. They're already sold into it. I mean, Tony has got them, sold into a lock, stock, and barrel. So what I did is I decided to join Twitter. And what had happened there is Tony invited everybody to post on Twitter so that they can let the congressmen and senators know that here they are. And the Twitter handle was We Are the People. And so when I joined in, I figured, you know what, I'll just join people like Mike Diston, and at the time it was Scotty D, It's Me. They were just thrashing people about their belief in the dinar. But the one thing I looked at is that whenever they'd ask them, how could it jump to this, 322 rate or 386 rate or whatever rate that was going out at the time, none of these dinarians can give you the answer. But anyway, I joined Twitter, and with joining Twitter, I got a PM from Ponee. She actually invited me to post at Dinar Daily. And once that happened, I decided, okay, I'll go ahead and, post some of the stuff at Dinar Daily, and I've never stopped. Ponee was doing, I saw she was posting all the articles and all the guru stuff, and I know she had a couple of things that she needed to do and wasn't going to post for a while, so she asked for a little bit of help of, doing some of the post. So I stepped up, and Ssmith stepped up, and we took over doing some of the posts for her while she was taking care of business. And apparently we were doing such a good job that Ponee didn't need to do any more posting anymore. So apparently she'd, come back and post every now and then. And we found sometimes we were posting, at the same time, believe it or not. But we were posting... She was posting one set of things, and I was posting another set of things, and they were completely different. There's so much information in Dinarland to post that we can post and not overlap each other so much. And all that information is just coming from the gurus, and it's just lie after lie after lie. And once you recognize that they're just nothing but lies, you got to sit back and chuckle at how many people can actually believe this stuff.
Mm.
So, but yeah, Sam joined in and a little bit later on, and then posted some of the stuff that he had posted long ago, and that became part of the 5 years ago in Dinarland that Ssmith started. Ssmith started the 5 years ago in Dinarland, and just to remind people that this is what was going on 5 years ago, and it's still going on today. Nothing's changed. It's the same lies. So that pretty much brings us up to today, other than, we did start the Guru Hunters, and that's thanks to TNTBS, because we somehow figured out how to get a knack for finding some of these gurus and exposing them. And usually once you did that, they disappeared. They didn't like the fame. So,
yeah. Now that 5 years ago in Dinarland, I participated in that until 2016, and that took me 5 years back. At that point, I didn't have any more material because I started in 2011. So we exhausted that. At least I exhausted my content in 2016. So, I don't participate that much anymore on Dinar Daily, but I'm there with you guys in spirit. Ssmith, you want to introduce yourself and tell your story? Are you there?
Okay, I guess it would help if I took off the mute button.
Yeah.
But essentially, my story is similar to everyone else's. I had friends that got involved in Dinar. It really sounded too good to be true. Did some research. It still sounded too good to be true, but just to err on the side of caution, I did buy a few Dinar just in case I was wrong. And more research, I found Sam's site made total sense, and found Dinar Daily. But what really got me fired up, it was when I found Opie's, one of the sites he moved to, someone created for him. The old ladies were on there, rah, it's going to RV any day. Some, 20-some-year-old kid, I don't know his age, but he got on there, and he was so horribly concerned about his mother. You know, she was a widow lady. She had quit running with her friends, didn't want anything to do with her family, just had no life. Her life was encapsulated in spending every waking hour of her day on that chat site. And these other women just jumped on him like a pack of flippin' wolves. It was, I mean, he was sincerely concerned about his mother, and in essence, he was being told just to butt the F out. She was fine, she's with her friends, and it was one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. And that was the first time I ever really participated in any type of social media. And here we are today. But, yeah, it was just horrible the way he was treated. And he was just genuinely concerned about his mother. And, you know, one thing led to another. And it was like, why not start exposing these gurus for their just lies and absolute BS that they spew on a daily basis, charge people for it, and just lead them down the path to nowhere. Kind of my story.
Yeah, I appreciate Shelley, or excuse me, I'll edit that.
Whatever.
Ssmith.
Not a problem.
Ssmith was the one who found the video from Blue Wolf. It's the only guru hunting I've really done since I shut I didn't shut it down, but since I quit blogging. She found this video that this numbnuts put out there. And I went to his YouTube channel and started digging around. Within a few hours, we knew who he was, where he was, and everything. When he discovered we were onto him, he took his video down, but it was too late. I'd already copied it and everything.
Oopsie.
Yeah. But these guys are pretty good at what they do, and in some cases, and then Nash, of course, found out that Bruce is actually Bruce Dingleberry. You can tell the story about that later on. Nick, are you there? You want to tell your story?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm on a bus right now. Can you guys hear me okay? I want to make sure I'm not distorted. Okay, good. Okay, well, let me just kind of start at the beginning. Kind of a boring beginning, but my wife and I were just checking out different articles on investing, and somehow we came across this article, and it was all about investing in Iraqi dinar. And I didn't know too much about it. I knew my brother had been in the military, and he was over there, but he didn't know much about it. So I was talking about investing. This was probably October, November of 2013. I had to check when my website was built. I built it in December. So I guess what happened was I purchased about $1 million dinar. My wife and I decided we're not going to spend a lot of money on that. I think it was about maybe around $1,000. You guys probably know better than I do how much we might have paid for it. And then we were watching it and watching different sites, and we kept hearing that it's going to happen any day in call centers and all this other stuff. And we checked out probably 6 different conference calls, and not all in one day. I didn't have the time, but my wife did. And she listened to these. She's like, I don't know, I think some of these guys are full of crap. And I said, all right, well, let me listen to the last one you listened to. And I put headphones on. I'm like making dinner, and I'm listening to this. I'm like, oh, this guy sounds like he is a liar. And I started researching these people, and that guy was Dave Schmidt. And then she said, listen to this other guy, look up his background, and that was TNT Tony. So the more I started researching these characters, I started to realize, these guys are really just lying about their asses about stuff. So I launched globalcurrencyreset.net because of a video that my wife purchased, and it was all about currencies resetting because the dollar was eventually going to collapse or lose so much value, it wouldn't be the world reserve currency, and maybe China would take over, so things would be redenominated. Had nothing to do with dinar. It was more about the dollar losing its standard as a reserve currency. So I started building a site based on that, but because I was interested in exposing scammers, because I did that, a lot of my life, I became an expert troll. And I would get on these conference calls, and I'd alter my voice, and I'd call them scammers, and I'd find the secret codes to jump in on the conference call and say, hey, everybody should read that article about Tony going to prison and all of that stuff. So I used to do a lot of trolling. But then I did my YouTube videos, and I got good reactions for the most part. But when I started telling people about the scam, for not just the dinar, but Zimbabwe dollars and Vietnamese dong and all these, basically dispelling all these rumors and myths, you can go back and check those. And I got a lot of bad votes on those videos because all these people who were following me thought it was all about making money and revalued dinar. But again, I had already done my research. It wasn't going to happen. So at one point, 2015, it was actually late 2014, if I remember correctly. Tony was on a call, and he had said something, and I forgot who posted it, but someone posted the transcript, and I think it was Ssmith or somebody out there had said, Tony said he works for Sterling, and I found the clip, I saved it, and I isolated it, and I put that up, and then everybody got mad at me. And then Sterling reached out to me trying to say that he never worked for them and all this stuff, and I started recording my calls with Frank Bell, who was one of the CEOs of the company. Eventually, I wrote an article, and some people remember that. It was about sterling currency. It was a review, and it just went over all this shady stuff. It showed how they were manipulating the search engines to try to rank high for different terms. They were trying to rank for dinar revaluation. And then come 2015, may have been like, I think May or June, they were raided by the FBI. Now, that very same day, because I was already in communication with Frank and I was recording his calls, the FBI came looking for me, but they went to the wrong house. So eventually they called my cell phone and they said, hey, we're trying to reach you. We need to meet with you right away because they do everything really fast. So they found me because I told them where I was going to be. I said, meet you at Starbucks. Spent some time with them, and I basically did a lot of informant type stuff and would record these calls with these different people and disguise my identity. And as you guys know, I have multiple identities and multiple personalities where I'm changing my voice and things. And I basically did that for, a couple of years. And it's been a lot of great fun. And definitely this call has re-piqued my interest in getting back on some of these conference calls, and like I used to do with Scotty, and we would troll people, and we would break into the phone lines, and then he would get on there, I would get on there. I found a way to do where you would, if you guys are familiar with, where you call a number, then you put them on hold, and then you call the number back, and then you merge the calls, and every time you start talking, it creates a feedback loop. So I would create feedback loops and destroy the conference calls, and they would stop taking calls. And I just kept doing that, and I was loving it. And my wife's like, you're getting a little silly with this. It really went from exposing scammers to now you're just driving people mad. I said, I love it. It's like, I'm trying to wake these people up. And so we've had a lot of great fun. And Dinar Daily was actually, I believe, it was a combination of different things that brought me to Dinar Daily, and I'm glad for it because it's provided a great avenue for search engines when they start searching for things, even like the most recent scam, that Meta One scam. They search for Meta One or Meta One scam, and Dinar Daily pops up because we've all, I think, kind of learned on how to phrase things. And so I'm really pleased at what we've accomplished. And going back to Dinar Douchebags, that was one of the earliest things that I discovered, and my wife as well, because she's always, since we've been married, I've always taken care of her, and she's been able to stay at home. But she found Dinar Douchebag, and then through that site, we've met other people, and they told us to check out Dinar Daily, and then I met Kenny and all these others. In fact, Kenny at first thought I was pro-Dinar, and we kind of went back and forth, and finally, we became friends on Facebook and everything, so he's been a great help. Sam I Am has been amazing. Ssmith and Kenny and everybody. Scotty has been fantastic. We had so much fun trolling these people. When Trump when Trump was running for election the first time, we did a live stream for like 3 hours, and so I miss those days. But we had a great time, and we kind of owed all to Sam. I think. A big part of it to Sam and, of course, the Dinar Daily website, because without that, we wouldn't have an avenue for our voices, and we wouldn't have the people to contribute. And I think it's been a fantastic community. I'm so proud of everybody and what we've accomplished over these past 10 years.
Do you remember that call that we did where I was the uncle and you were my nephew?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was supposed to be, we were getting a lot of calls, I think, about donations. And I remember, yeah, I was like, Uncle, can you talk to them, Uncle? And I forget. We're having fun. We're having fun with that.
Yeah, I put on my Texas accent, and now Nick, let's simmer down, whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and we called Okie up, and we got recordings of Okie talking about. We all got on a call, and I had it recorded, but we called Okie one day, and we're just like, hey, did you see about this and Zimbabwe, and Okie just started back up as if he never got away from it. So we would troll Okie. We've trolled Okie like 3 times now, and he just picks up right where he left off.
Yeah, and then there was that group where you got in there and I don't remember if it was the feedback thing that you were doing or whatever, but they were saying,
right,
well, he doesn't realize he's breaking the law, so we're gonna contact the law, and it won't be he won't be laughing then. It's like it's not against the law to bust into a conference call.
Oh yeah, so yeah, all you do is you would just basically, you know how you can call people but once and 3-way the call. I would just 3-way the same call. So then when they say, press star whatever to unmute yourself, I would do that, and it would just, I'd start talking and it'd be like and then they would start talking feedback. And if there wasn't a moderator, they didn't know what to do, and it just tripped people up. So those were fun days because people got off the call and they got on with their lives. I don't want people to be on these calls.
Right.
You hear only a couple of calls. It doesn't take long. I mean, my wife figured it out. I figured it out. Maybe some people figured it out quicker than others, but there's a lot of people who have, I hate to say it, it's really a mental illness that they think that they're going to get, what did we say it was, 100,000 something % return on investment? What did they say it was?
If it goes to $1, that would be 100,000% return. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, 100,000 plus %, and yeah, every once in a while I troll people. Even my Facebook page, people don't realize it. I troll them every once in a while. I'm like, hope you guys got out of the Zimbabwe dollars, and they get all mad. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, Chuckle's wife was she's like a manager with some automotive company up in the Detroit area. She made a lot more money than he did. As he was in IT, he made a pretty good living, but she made more money than he does, or did. She told him the first time she heard about the dinar, she says, that's BS. If this was real, Berkshire Hathaway would be all over it. So he eventually had to come around and recognize that his wife was right. And us guys, we don't like to admit that the woman's right and we're wrong. But there was a lady one time who contacted me, and she said, I've been reading your stuff. I'm so happy that somebody's out there, exposing this thing, but my husband won't sell. And I keep trying to tell him about Sam I Am, and he says, well, who is Sam I Am? He's nobody. Okie knows people. Tony knows people. But anyway, so about a year later, she contacted me. She said, well, my husband says if nothing happens by the end of the year, we can sell. And I never heard how that story ended up, but she was saying, God bless you for the work that you guys are doing. This is like 5 years ago. So I hope that they did go ahead and sell, because if they didn't, they've lost money since then because of the devaluation. But there's one call, Nick, that I remember. You were talking to people about the global currency reset in the Iraqi dinar, and there was this one guy on there, and you started basically saying, guys, you're not going to make any money on the dinar. And so he comes on and he says, so are you telling me then that the dinar is a scam? And you said, yeah, pretty much. And he says, well, I beg to differ. And he got all obstinate about it because you had the temerity to tell him that, you got your money wrapped up in something that's going nowhere. And that was so common back then. I think now that all these years have gone by, hopefully people are waking up and realizing, there was supposed to be a plan, okay? At the end of the war, as soon as things stabilize, they're going to revalue their currency. That was the plan. Well, guys, the war ended 18 years ago. If there was a plan, don't you think they would have implemented it by now? We've been through 3 presidents since.
Well, I don't know because it was in Obama's hands, and then it was in Trump's hands. Now it's in Joe Biden's hands, but Joe Biden keeps forgetting. So it's dementia, I guess. I don't know.
It reminds me of a certain video that Nick put out there. No, it's in God's hands. No, wait, it's in Trump's hands. No, wait.
That's mine.
No, that was Nash. That was Nash.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I meant Nash.
That was great. We should insert that audio here because that's a perfect segue to insert the audio from whose hands. Yeah.
It's always an excuse after excuse after excuse, and it just it's a never-ending excuses. It's like, well, if they had a plan, why do they keep having all these excuses?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe someday someone will post the plan, but none of the gurus will because there isn't one.
Right. There is no plan. The only plan was a geopolitical plan to turn Iraq into a democracy. And you see how that's working out. I mean, it's very difficult to take a country like Iraq or Afghanistan and turn them around into a thriving capitalist democracy. These people don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
It's not compatible with their culture.
They've moved from one to another. Have you noticed that they went from dinar to Vietnamese dong to Zimbabwe dollars, and then they're doing these like treasury bonds or redemption bonds or Chinese bonds? They can't figure out what the hell they're doing. Did
the TNTBS ever make it to the call?
I don't see him.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey,
where's that laugh?
Oh, I'm here. Did I hit a button? Did I mute myself or something? Oh, hey.
I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm here.
What's up?
Yeah, my story was pretty simple. Create havoc and destruction. Just make everybody's life absolutely freaking miserable. I ran into, of course, I started off back in Twitter with Kenny. Him just went nuts on this. I was Scotty D back then. Then, of course, I got into with everything else with the Dinar Daily, and that's where it seemed like I met everybody that's here on the phone call now. But, yeah, I had plenty of fun. I like the DC connection when I exposed Winston. He didn't like that at all. I ended up talking to Winston's wife. I talked to Winston's wife, our DC connection with Tony, and I told her, I said, your husband has been exposed big time, and he left immediately. And, of course, I had the already blessed Pam with TNT. It turned out to be a Twitter storm on that. That was fun. Exogen, we had lots of fun with Exogens, and just all these different people we were, it was awesome. I absolutely loved it. And I do miss it. I miss it a lot because I used to have fun doing that, trolling people. Michael, it was just so much fun. Oh, my God. Nick would have me on calls. We would get on there, and we would just create havoc on these calls. And as soon as they heard my voice and heard me laugh, they immediately knew who I was. And they like, oh, my God, that's that guy that makes some TNT videos. But I ended up with the TNTBS, We Are the People, because he started off with TNT, We Are the People. So I just added a BS in there, which was just absolutely bullshit, and I just ran with it. And I've had a blast. I loved it. I still miss it. I would love to get back and making videos again. It was absolutely fun. But I did have some
channel still going.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. It's still up there.
We'll link to it.
So, but yeah, I had a really, really good time starting off. Of course, Tony was my main target, and I freaked him out because I ran into him at the airport in Texas, and he didn't know who I was, and but I called his name out, and then I started laughing. Then he stopped and turned around and looked at me like, "Oh shit, that's that guy." But I tracked Tony right down to his phone, right where he was at, and he's like, you don't know where I'm at? I said, yeah, I do. I said, you're in your second floor apartment. I said, you got a white pickup out front. I said, you want me to get a license plate tag on it? Oh, I was really good at tracking these people down. So being an ex-deputy sheriff, I had fun doing it. Now, we actually loved it when we all got together. Actually had him arrested federally, and because we had contacted the judge showing that he was violating his parole. And, of course, then that really put the nail in the coffin. And, of course, Shelley, or, Smith, she had some pretty good photos there, and that was absolutely awesome. That was the best. Caught Tony red-handed going into the courtroom. And I figured that would be the end of him, but by God, he's still going.
Yeah, Sheriff was there too.
Yeah, Sheriff, yep. And it was crazy. So, and of course, Dave Schmidt, we all had fun with him. So.
Dave the douchebag.
We had fun with that guy. Yeah.
Joined their Meta One Facebook group. They let me in. I can't troll them too hard or I'll get kicked out.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing that if you bring information into these forums that people don't want to hear, you immediately get booted?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't have a conversation with anybody, but yeah, you immediately get booted.
Yeah. Yep. But,
they make money by keeping hope alive, and when you come in with contrary information, you're cutting into their bottom line.
Well, yeah. I think you and I were talking about it the other day. Say your membership is $15 a month. That's $180 a year. Right. And if you've been in it for 10 years, making those premium donations or premium fees or something like that, it's $1,800 that you paid these people, and that affords Frank his vacation to Hawaii every year.
Yeah, you got
and his house and his cars and everything else.
How's Frankie 26 doing? Has anybody checked up on him lately? He was a fun person to talk to. I talked to him for like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
he was in Hawaii, and I dropped the bomb, and he said, "I know who you are." But I talked to him a couple of times over in Hawaii. So, how's he been, Frankie 26?
Well, apparently he's jumping off of YouTube. He jumped into YouTube because obviously there's lots of money to be made. If you ever look at the ads that he's running on that thing, tons of money for that. But he threatened to, this is his last YouTube, and he said he'll be over in premium if you want to talk to him. That's a hint to go, pay, buy your monthly premium if you want to talk to him directly or whatever. But I put it out that he's going to come back on YouTube because it makes him so much money. Why would you drop something that makes money? I mean, the whole thing about the gurus is making money. Look at Mark Z. Any of the posts that you find on other websites, you won't find it at Dinar Daily because I won't post his ads. But it is riddled with ads. Go here for Mark this. Go here for Mark that. Go here for Mark this. And it's like, you know what? All this guy is doing is just advertising. And every time you go to these sites, ad clicks, clickbait. Now, you don't even have to click on them. The advertisers know that you're there, and once you generate a volume of people there, the advertisers will pay you money.
Right.
So these people are just making just lots of money.
It sounds like 14 Daily Plus, Tony's old show, with the ad clicks.
Oh, my God.
They sent him to prison for a year.
I remember I bought that.
Yeah, I remember you told me you bought that. Yep.
I never heard
you know what I did was I bought a bunch of old websites and I kept putting TNT Tony and Anthony Renfro and Scammer.
It was so neat because the search engines kept pulling you up. They were bypassed. He was in the lead for a search engine.
Wow. My favorite video of yours, Scott, TNTBS.
What's that?
The one where Tony went to prison.
Yeah.
I know.
You put this little chipmunk effect on your voice. Tony's going to prison. And everybody was partying in the background. That was hysterical.
I went to that court trial, and I was listening to that video over and over, driving all the way back home. Hysterical.
Do you guys remember when I put his sentencing documents online?
Yes, I remember.
It still shows up. You search for TNT Tony on Google, all of his sentencing documents.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you got the whole file, Nick.
In fact, TNTBS and I are number one on Tony's hit list. Like, do not post anything from them.
Yep, yep. Who was all on the call when we talked to Oki? I called Oki. I called him directly, and we were all talking to Oki. I think Giammarino was listening.
Sam was listening, Ssmith was listening to, Nash, and they all muted, and we trolled him. He was talking about Turkey, and it's got crypto for you.
Yeah. Hallmark videos.
Yeah.
It was Christmas time. He was watching Hallmark fucking videos.
Well, I'm okay, but my knees.
Yeah.
Maybe I should call him up as Gay Brat.
Yeah.
I think he's changed his phone number because I still have it on my fake Oki account. And somebody was saying the other day, the phone's been disconnected.
Oh my gosh.
Hate to hear that happen.
Good times.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if I can call Oki using Oki's voice, like with the soundboard, so he talks to himself.
Oh, I know, right? That would be cool. Yeah.
You remember when was it Kenny that called into Bruce's call?
Yes.
Yeah, that was
right. That was the only call that he took down.
Yep.
That was
right after his name got exposed. Kenny got on and mentioned his name, and they scrambled into the call. And that call they never put out. You had to be there live in order to hear it.
Yeah, and that was the last time he took any phone calls.
One and done.
Nope.
Yeah,
doing things? What's he doing, Bruce?
Same thing. He's repeating whatever Mark Z says, and Mark Z is repeating whatever Frank says, and whatever Fleming says, and whatever Holly wants to yell about, and then Bruce picks up on that and just keeps repeating the nonsense. It's just
they start posting Mark Z videos with his felony profile. Maybe that'll stop things.
Yeah.
Is he a felon, or am I wrong?
He is. Did you know that I looked him up, and apparently he was in the bar business, bar business, basically. He had a few bars there where he lives. And apparently you can't be an owner of a bar if you have a felony. So now we know why he's back in Dinar Land, is because he can't get a job at a bar where he did all of his business and everything else. So obviously, he's just making money hands over foot. I mean, with all his advertisings everywhere, can't miss. What I'm curious though about is that Mark Z, they advertise, donate money to Oki because his back is hurting and stuff like that, and it's all for stem cell research type shots and whatever. I think Oki was on a TNT call and said he only got one shot and just gave up on the rest of it. So where's all that money going?
Right.
And it's a ton of money. Who's getting the money? So it's just a ton of money raised in Dinar Land by the gurus.
Yeah.
For the gurus.
For them themselves.
Yeah.
Look at all of Frank's suits. He's got a suit for every single different day, and apparently, if you get the right color, it'll tell you what kind of intel he's going to give you. Same thing as Admin Bill's color codes.
Frank obviously shops at a really cheesy thrift store.
Yeah.
In the wrong part of town, just let me say.
Uh-huh.
But it works. It works. People see him in that suit, and they, somehow or another, it's captivating, and people just can't.
I seen him early on, and I could not click off quick enough. I mean, this is like a carnival clown.
Yeah.
And that was early on when I first started looking into this garbage. I mean, he's a caricature of, I really don't know what. Goofball. Putting it mildly.
If you go back to the history when I got started, the big names were Adam Montana and the Dinar Daddy, which was Roger Dorman, Breitling,
Right.
still out there.
Yeah.
The
Gary
Get team.
Kennedy.
Yeah, there was the Get team, and once we started exposing these guys, you found out Adam Montana supposedly was a Harvard graduate who made a killing on the Kuwaiti dinar, and boy, that really sucked a lot of people in because they wanted to ride with this guy who'd been there before, And we found out that the guy he was not a Harvard graduate, he wasn't even a high school graduate, and he wasn't 50 years old.
12.
Yeah, he was
like
14 years old when the Kuwaiti dinar supposedly popped. And so once we exposed him, he lost 75% of his traffic within a year. But all these guys are just, they're lying about who they are, about their experience, their background, and everything. Turns out Frank was a taco cook.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we got a pizza guy. I mean, we got the restaurant business covered. Mark can tend the bar, and the other guys can make faster.
Oh, well, doesn't Adam Montana have the porn corner covered?
Have what?
Isn't that what? The porn industry? Doesn't he have the porn industry covered?
Yeah, he had an adult humor site. Beer and Shots, I think, was the name of it. And it was pretty gross. It was pretty gross, but that's how.
Who had the dating site? Somebody had the dating site. Was that linked up with him too? Somebody had that dating site. Something dating site with the word fish in it. I don't know what the hell it was. Nick, you was telling me about it, weren't you? Yeah,
Adam Montana's website. My wife smells like fish. That one.
No. It was called like, God. It was some kind of a dating site that they got involved into. Yes, that one. Who did that?
I think you're right. I found his profile because he kept using the same profile, Wolfie Man or something. I think it was, and I found posts about Dinar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, was it Wolfie Man? I think I screenshotted his post. It's like, hey, did anybody know about Dinar?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun exposing those.
I joined the forum just so I could capture all of his posts, but they wouldn't let me.
Then we found out that Roger Dorman was married to I don't remember her name, but the woman who owned
Angela Dorman.
Yeah.
From the Currency Vault.
Who was a cheerleader for, I think, the Dallas Cowboys.
Really? I didn't know that.
I found her on Facebook and I messaged her and was asking her about Roger one day.
Well, he used to bring her on and say, we're going to talk to Angela from the Currency Vault. And now, Angela, you guys, blah, 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 you got a special going on this and that. Like she was just a business associate, And we found out that it was actually his wife. And they were pulling a scam on everybody.
Had that Ali guy, too. I forgot Ali because that was a little bit before me.
Ali Aga.
That was another big one.
That was D-Trade.
Dinar Trade, yeah. Yeah, and that guy, I think he was one of the main promoters of the scam.
Wasn't he like a wholesaler bringing it in, facilitating the dinars coming into the country? Or am I wrong on that?
I don't know. He said that his father was a currency trader in Jordan, I think, during the Kuwait.
Maybe Dubai.
Dubai, maybe. Yeah, somewhere over there during the Kuwaiti revaluation. And, and I told Chuckles, I said, Chuckles, he does not sound like he's from the Middle East. He sounds like he's from the UK. I don't think he's ever lived in the Middle East. And then Proteus, I don't remember Proteus's group, but Proteus got an interview with Ali, and he asked him for his story, and he said, yeah, he grew up in the UK, and then when he was 13, his family moved to Southern California. And I thought, well, now, at what point was his dad in Dubai? Of course, we all know that there was no Kuwaiti dinar RV. That was just a bogus story. And I think Ali may have been the guy that made that up, that all the other gurus took it from him. But he actually got his start he was a floor trader for the Chicago Stock Exchange. He's just one of these guys out there, jumping up and down with a buy order, that kind of thing. And so I don't buy his story about his dad being over there making all kinds of money on the Kuwaiti art. Well, of course, we know that didn't happen. I don't think his dad was a currency trader at all. I don't know how he got set up, but somebody was putting a lot of money into his operation. He had supposedly cash-in centers that were set up all over the country. When the RV happens, we're going to have all these cash-in centers. And the thing that really raised a question mark with me is how come all these gurus are going to be working the cash-in centers for Ali? I mean, Ali is a currency, what do you call him, a currency dealer, I guess. But he's not supposed to be selling this as an investment. He's just supposed to be providing an exchange of currencies like you'd get at a bank or whatever. But he had all these gurus that were going to be working all these cash-in centers. Well, that's red flags all over the place right there. Eventually, he wised up and got out of it. And then you had, Nick was talking about Frank Bell. Frank Bell, that guy really chapped my hide because I thought he was a street shooter. And he conned me. He gave me all this information on Tony, about Tony's previous indictment for the Daily Plus thing, whatever. He also gave me information. Yeah, he also gave me information on Dinar Corp because they were his competitors. And this is all information, that I could use. But he told me, he said, we do not pay anybody a commission for any intel or anything like that. And then it came out when Sterling, they all got indicted. We read through the thing, and he was paying a flat rate to Terry K. So he kind of lied and he kind of didn't. He said, well, we don't pay anybody a commission. No, he wasn't paying a commission. He was paying a flat fee every month, like $1,500 a week or something like that. Or I don't remember. It was a lot of money Terry K was making from Sterling. And I thought Frank was just, strictly by the book, by the law and everything. Nah, he was lying to me.
And none of the other guys made money, right?
Who? What other guys?
They had all these contributors, but Terry K was like the only one getting paid on that Get team.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did you know that some of the Dinar sites were actually paid for by Dinar dealers?
The banner.
Three Squirrels, and there was another one we found out that Dinar Inc. was paying for the site.
That Dan Atkinson had. What was that? People's Talk Radio.
Well, I just looked. Treasury Vault is still open. I thought they went down, but Treasury Vault's still up.
They got divorced.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they went down. They got a picture of Tony on there, little bastard.
Well, when Sterling got raided by the FBI, did you notice that all of the Dinar dealer ads came off the sites really quickly? I mean, the Get team, you go to their site, they had Sterling and Dinar Inc., but as soon as Sterling got raided, those two ads came right off the site. And then the
that other one, Connections, the Team Connection or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dinar Corp had banners everywhere. They had banners on Southwest Florida guy's dad's site.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of that one.
One of the guys, he had a motorcycle shop down here in Florida. I tracked him down. He had a motorcycle shop here in Florida. There's some kind of a Harley Davidson shop.
Actually, D-Trade, Dinar Inc. bought them, or basically their customers or whatever, and then Dinar Inc. actually no longer exists. They now go under Exchanges of America. So all of
right.
these changes of names, it's like there must be something wrong with the liability or something like that. You just open a site and then you sell it or change it, and then you're no longer responsible for what the other guy did or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
The thing that cracked me up was Dinar Corp when that idiot decided to handle their marketing. And so he shot a video of all these different gurus talking about how great Dinar Corp is because they have a guarantee layaway plan. What was that layaway thing called?
Reserve program.
Reserve, yeah. Guaranteed reserve program. Now I don't have to lose my money when I put it into the reserve program. that kind of thing. But the whole video they shoot with all these gurus, Million Day, and I can't remember, Robin Redhead, I think.
Oh gosh, that's ages ago.
Yeah, but when they shot the video and all these gurus were talking, you see these bookshelves in the background just completely empty. No books in the bookshelves. Everything, the only thing in there was the chair that the gurus were sitting in to talk. The place just looked like they rented it for the day to shoot the video. And they're supposedly at the Dinar Corp headquarters there, or their location there in Atlanta. And
it was like a virtual office.
Yeah,
right.
And I said, everything about this video says temporary. that was one thing that's one thing they threatened to sue me about, because I was saying that they were, going to, skip town on everybody. Well, of course, a couple of years later, they got indicted.
Oh, fun times.
I know, right?
Yeah, and with all of that, with all the people shifting around from one dealer to another, and all the intel, and the gurus come and go, and the blogs come and go, and what's happened with the dinar? It's
nothing.
Right. Yeah, it's nothing's happened with Iraq or the dinar except that they've devalued.
It went down.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's actually back to the level that it was in 2003.
Yeah.
It was around 1,500 in 2003, and now it's at 1,460 or 1,470, depending on who you're buying it from, whether you can buy it from the bank or a dealer or something like that.
Yeah.
It's back to where it was.
Yeah, and you remember, Nash, when we were talking about this a few years ago, they had always had this policy that we back our currency 100%, which they kind of had to, because nobody had any confidence in their currency or their country. And I started noticing that their money supply kept growing, but their currency reserves that were backing it weren't growing. And I said, they're not backing it 100% anymore. And I said, they can't really do that. There's not enough confidence in their country. I'm thinking that they're going to have to come up with some more money for their reserves, or they're going to have to devalue. And so I said, I think the next move is a devaluation.
And Caparoni owes you a pizza.
Exactly.
You won the bet.
Caparoni and I had a bet. He said the next move is going to be, they're going to go on a float, and it's going to start going up. And I said, no, the next move is going to be a devaluation. And sure enough, and it was a much bigger devaluation than I expected, but it went the direction that I said, and Caparoni has yet to make good on that pizza bet. You owe me a pizza, Caparoni. I hope he sees this. I hope a lot of people see this video when I put it out there, because people need to know this thing's been going on a long time, okay? If you just got into this in the last 2 or 3 years, you missed all the fun times back when we were exposing all these guys. But there are people who have been sitting around 10, 15 years expecting this thing to pop any day now, day now, and it never does. It just keeps going down.
Well, people keep pointing back to the Kuwaiti RV, which we all know didn't happen, but I actually did the math on some of that stuff. If you became a millionaire during that, quote, Kuwaiti RV, unquote, you actually had to have walked around with 14.5 bricks of currency. That's enough to fill up a couple of backpacks. And that just debunks it right there. Even if you bought it at a nickel, let's say, to make $1 million off of that quote thing that never really happened, 14.5 bricks. That's 144 bundles of 20s. That was the highest denomination note at the time. Now, more than likely, you didn't have 20s, you had 10s and 5s, so you can double and quadruple the amount of bundles that you would have to have had to walk into a bank and say, here, cash me out or exchange my currency or convert it or whatever and give me my $1 million. Never happened.
Yeah, because it had to be in cash.
Black market rate, I think.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to the way North Korea has an official exchange rate, and then they have a black market rate. If you've ever been to North Korea, they have totally different rate if you give them $1. So if the official rate is you get 100 for $1, the in-country rate, the black market rate, is like 2,000 to the dollar. So there's always a black market rate for a certain currency.
Even if you bought it on the black market at a nickel, let's say, and then you wanted to convert it over to the official rate and get your $1 million out of it, because the black market's not going to give you $1 million for it. They're just going to, if they're selling it for a nickel, they're going to give you less than that just to buy it back. But if you bought it at a nickel and then wanted to go back to the rate that was 347, that's when people said they got their money after Kuwait opened up the banks and revalued the currency, supposedly. Then they would get it at the official rate, which was 347. And that's how they made their $1 million. Well, if you do the math, you have to have 144 bundles of 20s to equal $1 million. And those are bundles of $20 dinar notes. And obviously 20s, they weren't really commonly used at the time. That was the largest currency denomination they had. So you're looking at 10s and 5s and 1s and maybe even less than that. So it'd be more than 144 bundles. Think about it, 288, almost 600 bundles if you had, 5s or something like that. Those fill rucksacks of stuff. And you're walking into the bank with that much currency, that's not happening. Common sense says that's not going to happen.
Right. And you had to take that currency out of a war zone.
Yep. Well, that was
playing Kuwait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so any predictions on the next new thing they're gonna these gurus are gonna try and do? What do you predict? What's the next step they're gonna try and go?
Well, they're already into the aliens, and they're still talking about the Chinese elders that are going to pay the thing, and then you have all that gold, that's 60 zeros after the figures that, some guy posted some gibberish, and that's never really stopped. People actually think there's that much stuff that's going to be released into Iraq,
right,
or Zimbabwe, or Vietnam only. I mean, when you think about it, it just doesn't even make any sense.
Do they still talk about the Zimbabwe dollar?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that's still.
And they say it's a bond because it has the word bearer on it, and somehow that converts it into a bond. And then of course it's printed on bond paper, which is just the paper they use to print the currency on is just a lesser value currency paper.
What about Dave?
It's just bond paper.
What about Dave Smith's thing? What's he?
I'm not sure if he's going through round 1 or round 2 again. I mean, he was going to do round 2 because round 1 was already done, and then he started back with round 1. It's like, wait a minute, round 1 was already done. So it's a wash, rinse, and repeat thing again.
He had some art thing going on, right?
That was the Meta One coin scam.
That one scam.
He went to jail for that. Well, at least he had a warrant issued for his arrest because he, flipped off the judge. Yeah. And so they arrested him, and then he got stuck in there for a couple of months because of the COVID lockdowns and stuff like that. And he spent some time there.
Yeah, but he was smart enough to bail from that scam. He
he didn't want the default judgment. He got the judgment, and
wasn't he getting into the trying to make up his own Bitcoin or cryptocurrency?
That was the Meta one.
He moved to Florida.
Yeah. Right. That's
right.
what I thought the gurus were going to start getting into was these cryptocurrencies, making their own, trying to make trying to get people on their own, like because they're right now cryptocurrencies. Everyone's doing it besides Bitcoin being the one, but everybody seems to be creating their own cryptocurrency now. And I figured that's what they would jump on.
Oh my gosh, TNTBS, you have not even begun to think about this stuff. They had these crazy women on who were channeling things, and she's like, "I'm Abraham Lincoln." And she's yes, right?
Or whatever Al was.
Yeah, she's like, "I'm going
sounds
to."
Like a video. Feed me some more info.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to talk to Abraham Lincoln or whatever. Abraham Lincoln's going to talk to me.
Oh my God, that's gold. I need that info.
That is crazy. Awesome. That is crazy. But you know what? There's always a group.
That's all I can say. Stay away from Sedona.
Yeah, Mellotron. That's what it was. It was something like Mellotron, which wasn't that what it is? Yeah, Mellotron. I thought that was one of the Transformers, or that Megatron. I don't know.
Yeah, Megatron.
They just,
I don't know.
So
you guys remember?
You got to watch it, man. You got to watch it. She just starts talking like Abraham Lincoln, and it's a blonde chick, and she's like got all these tattoos, and she's out of her mind.
That's Robert Dunlop's wife.
Dave Ssmith interviewed an Anunnaki. You remember that Anunnaki guy that Dave Ssmith interviewed?
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, my God.
This guy's from another planet.
Jesus.
And I'm thinking, now, at what point did we go from investment to extraterrestrials?
Right.
Well, because it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough going after the Christians. They started going after the New Age nonsense people. Mm-hmm. Then they started going after the atheists. You notice it's always a pattern. We can't get all the Christians because they figured it out. So let's go after the New Age people. The New Age people are like, this is stupid. Let's go back to channeling. And then now they got other people. They got atheists, I guess, because they can't get enough with the other groups.
The Patriots crowd, the people who the Federal Reserve is going away, and we're going to go back to gold currency and all that.
Right. But they always hit up the group. But the Christians, I think, were the first victims of this.
Actually, I think the military was the first. Right after the war, but that was long over with by the time I came into it. But yeah, the earlier years it was marketed primarily to the military.
Right, Texas, the southern states, and then it got into the black community as well. But it was a lot of the full gospel type Christian churches that this was propagated upon.
Well, guys, I'm gonna have to wrap it up here. I appreciate all of you joining me. Anybody got any parting thoughts that you'd like to share?
Don't buy Dinar.
Well, that sums that up.
Yeah.
Bye.
Beware. Yeah.
We've got plenty of information. We got plenty of information at Dinar Daily. Just go through the forums and ask anybody for any information, any questions that you have. There's another site that my friend Marcus Curtis started called Iraq Currency Watch. It's got all of the archives from what I did when I was blogging at Dinar Douchebags. All the information you need about this is available either at Dinar Daily or Iraq Currency Watch. So you can check out those resources and maybe hook up with some of us at Dinar Daily to get any questions answered or whatever. And just don't believe anything that comes from the gurus, because they're liars, they're scammers, they're douchebags.
You got it.
So let's see, TNTBS. I'm sorry, TNTBS, Nash, and Ssmith and Ponee, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you guys being here for this very special occasion. Like I said, I'm not going to be around for the 20th anniversary. I mean, hopefully I'll still be in the land of living, but I'm not going to be celebrating because by that time, I'm not gonna care anymore. I don't think. But when this 10th anniversary came around, I thought this is one more chance to get the word out to people to let them know that the dinar is going nowhere as far as making you any kind of windfall. So
if it's too good to be true, it is.
Yeah, that's a good saying. We should probably
that's a great one.
Probably spread that around. It could catch on. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys joining me and celebrating this 10th anniversary and all the work you guys have done. You guys have been so great over the years with working together, teamwork, disrupting conference calls, exposing gurus, and finding new scams, new schemes, and there's just so much work that we have done over the years to let people know the facts about this, and I appreciate all the effort that all of you have made, and I wish you the best in your future endeavors, and who knows, maybe we'll connect for another call here and there, just talk over good old times together.
Right.
So,
well, you started it, Sam, so thank you. You were, instrumental in starting this whole movement, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
People a platform and a voice, and, this can work to try to change some minds and so on and so forth.
Right, you never know.
Yep.
When I started my blog, nobody was coming. This is back in the day when, blogging was the thing. And I started the blog and I said, I don't care if nobody comes. I'm putting this information out there. And the first few weeks, I was about the only one visiting my blog. But then other people started to catch on, and the search engines picked it up. And before I knew it, I was getting hundreds of views a day. Eventually, in 1 month, I averaged 1,500 views a day. It just blew my mind.
Yeah. I was linking your site on Twitter so much. I wanted everybody to go to that site. I kept linking your site on Twitter to get everybody. You want to know the truth and the facts? Look right here. And I kept linking it everywhere I went. I was linking your site. Yeah. So, yeah.
You had that guy with the video that I can't. Crap, who was he? And he was really good, really articulate, broke it down. You had him, you did an interview.
John Jagerson.
There you go.
Yep.
He was huge. I mean, he could not have made it more simpler.
John Jagerson is a real foreign currency expert. Studied at Harvard. He's a consultant to Fortune 500 companies. He's not one of these idiot anonymous gurus like Breitling, who claims to be a currency expert.
Was he in the class with Adam Montana at Harvard? Probably not, I guess.
Jagerson, he is so, he's got this, I cannot remember the name of his site now. He tutors people in trading on Forex and stuff. He's very smart, very knowledgeable, and he blew the whistle on this thing before I came along. He was calling it a scam long before I started my blog, and then when I did start the blog, I said, you guys want to hear from a real currency expert? Listen to this guy, and he told you why it wasn't going to happen. And
right, in layman's terms, and I could grasp that.
Yeah, he went a little over my head every once in a while, but
the gist of it, close enough,
Yeah, he was great. Yeah, that was a great opportunity to really spread some factual, actual information. So it's still out there. If you want to go back and look up John Jagerson and an Iraqi dinar, you can watch his video. He did 2 videos on it explaining why it was a scam. So anyway, I gotta run. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me. And I'll upload this video on YouTube on Iraq Currency Watch, and hopefully you can share it with whoever and spread the word.
Awesome. Thank you
for everything.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye bye.
All right. Good night.